Very excited to talk to you. This film is something that, when you get into quarantine, you kind of forget some of the fun things out there when it comes to sci-fi and, the unknown things. And this is one of those ones that kind of brings back a lot of nostalgia and love in some regards, but also some new kind of feats too. So the one thing I always ask when it comes to things like this, especially in space, is how did you first um, imagine your parasite? When the world is out there and there's so many things you can create, how did you first imagine your parasite and your alien?
Well, actually, Derek, I must tell you that was the hardest part of making this movie is actually to design this creature. And you know that we when we started developing the creature visually, I mean, on a we started the concept art. We quickly realized that we coexist in the universe where the xenomorph, the predator, and all the other iconic creatures already exist. So it was quite a challenge to 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 do something really convincing and something really original. And so this process lasted for almost, I would say, half a year or so, and we've come through a lot of iterations, lot of options, and um, finally we just realized that it doesn't matter how this creature looks. I mean, he's a character. He's the character that need to fulfill the story needs that need to help to to develop our characters, and this is the character who need to help us to tell that story. I mean, and basically it was like that.
No, and that's when it comes to the creation of space and all the things, the unknown, that's where I kind of like to start because I want to find kind of the mindset there. I also wanted to ask because a lot of this is dependent on your actors as well to ground things. Not necessary to make things explode bigger, but to ground things more in the reality of this happened in space and this happened to this cosmonaut. So how did you find these actors, these two right here?
Well, they're truly amazing human beings. I mean, I love them, and I mean the finding our characters was also a huge challenge. And I would say that the most important part for me was uh, for these actors when I was auditioning them, that you know to actors to feel the story, to feel the character, to emotionally respond on the things that we would like to tell the audience. And I mean, these guys, they did an amazing job, and we after the movie we became close friends with Oksana, with Peter, and I mean it was really a pleasure to work with them because they've been really hardly working on the characters and developing, and they've been working inside out, and I think that they delivered an amazing performances.
I think so too, and I think, like as I mentioned, I think that she especially helped kind of ground a lot of what the story was, and helped kind of show a real character that could make mistakes, but also wanted to do the right thing and kind of help. So I always like to ask directors too. Do you remember a certain day you were shooting that just went perfect? Like you're still gonna smile about later on when you move on to other films. Like a day that still kind of makes you smile. That you thought this is perfect, and you were excited, and you thought this is gonna be amazing. Like was there a certain scene, a certain day, or even maybe something that happened behind the scenes?
Well, I mean, I can recall any specific day, but I know I remember when we've been shooting very emotional pieces. There are few of them in the movie, scattered throughout the movie. And I mean, it's quite an amazing thing when you feel this energy which actors gives you, which they invest into the scene, which they invest into their opponent, into their partner, and it's amazing. It gives you, besides the smiles, I mean, it gives you a lot of power, a lot of strength to keep doing things. And I mean, when you see that they're not acting, I mean, it's a real true emotions. It's just great.
Yeah.
That's all I can say.
No, that's fantastic. And then the other question I like to ask as well is, when you were first putting this story together and it was more in your mind than visually available, how did you explain it to friends when they asked you about Sputnik? When they asked you what it was, how did you explain it to them first before you actually gave it a visual?
well, yeah. I mean that it's obvious that most of the people compares our movie to Sputnik, and to Sputnik, to Alien,
Mm.
Ridley Scott's masterpiece. And so that was kind of obvious comparison. When my friends were asking me, "What are you doing right now?" I told them I'm working on my first feature. What is it about? I mean, it's like Russian version of Alien, but that was a joke actually. But that was partly a joke because that was a starting point for us. I mean that I was highly influenced by a Ridley Scott movie, and I thought that well, we should do something similar. But and the Sputnik has a alien's DNA, but it's completely another story. It's original, and it's absolutely different. I would say that just nowadays I consider Alien as a Alien open, created sort of subgenre. It's this, you know, first example of really great space horror movie. And but when my friends were asking me, I told them that yeah, I'm doing the Soviet version of Alien.
Yeah. Well, and that's the beauty of it. Like you could find fun and find new opportunities to be singular, even if you kind of follow in great footsteps too. So I want to thank you very much for talking with us, and I hope you had as much fun making the film as it is to watch.
Thank you so much. Yeah, it
Pleasure.
was a
Have a good
pleasure.
day.